I ran with my Subang friends. It's called SS15. That's the spot where we chill out at. But eventually, the topics of these tracks will be hip hop. So, like that's where I met Ultima. That's where I met Nina. Reefa. Like all these cats would come in and just talk about music, and we weren't even established artists yet. We just had passion for music. So, but when we started doing gigs and organizing hip hop gigs, we would always make sure that we would include, the DJ, everybody from the DJ community, the turntablists, the graffiti artists will come through, the b-boys will come through, and I think that's what made, the movement so strong, because you could be a fan of rap music, but you might not want to rap, you might want to dance, or so I've always believed that, like, for you, you need that creative outlet.
Yeah.
And
yeah, for those who didn't know, like in Indonesia as well, like I learned a lot about hip hop from the internet. So
right,
like this is like way before YouTube, where you
right.
gotta download MP3 instrumentals from Napster and stuff.
Yeah.
But we have this discussion forum from Hip Hop Indo. So there's this website called Hip Hop Indo.
I remember Hip Hop Indo, man. I had a Hip Hop Indo sweater, gray sweater, Hip Hop Indo.
Yeah, man. So
.net, right? Hey, is it hiphop.indo.net?
Yeah. So the guy who built that website is actually a member of P Squad, Ferry.
Yes.
He was a member of Pesta Rap.
He gave me, okay.
Yeah, he was from Sweet Martabak with the Pager song Kredit, Pager Kau Berbunyi.
Yep.
That's the guy.
Sweet Martabak was him and John, right? No.
Yes.
Or was
Ferry
it?
and John.
Right. Yeah, and then Doyce.
John is still active. Doyce and Eric is from Black Kumu.
Yep. And then they started P Squad.
Yeah, it was dope. I love like the whole production, P Squad and everything. That's crazy. Like I grew up listening like that kind of
man. I mean, yeah. John is running the station, right?
Yes,
a hip hop radio station.
Hip hop radio station, Motion Radio.
With your brother.
I got my brother here.
Your brother just interviewed. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, what up, man? Yo, I just did an interview with them like recently, like a live thing too, on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I want to talk about what you say about when you want to start rapping in Malaysia, inspired by P Squad, but at the same time you don't want to make it corny, because our language.
I mean, when I said I didn't want to make it corny, it was like this. Like, let me just put it this way. Before that, people were rapping like, like the flow was the same. You know what I mean? So we wanted to kind of like reinvent the flow.
Yeah.
So, we wanted it to sound natural. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna quote, Malay songs that came before me, but I think, when we started rapping with Alhamdulillah and all that, the complexity of the flows were just as it sounded in English, so I studied like Japanese hip hop too, because like I listened to Zebra, and Zebra is often, he's known to be like, to have reinvented the flow for Japanese cats, like Zebra was working with DJ Premier in like mid-90s, so he was like, yeah. And then eventually when I started going to Thailand, I saw how Titanium did it. And that's when I was like, all right, man, you gotta, it's a constant evolution.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, what I wanted to say
early
is
on, we were inspired by Indonesia a lot. Not just rappers in Indonesia, but like Indonesian movies. You know what I mean? Like, like other songs. Like I would listen to like Sheila on 7, Gigi. I was a big Gigi fan.
Wow. That goes full circle.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I remember the first time I went to Indonesia for, we had a press conference, and like there was like 100 journalists at the time we were signing EMI, right? And we needed a translator, bro. Malu, man. Jadi bila ditanya soalan gitu, gue nggak bisa paham, bro. Jadi gue harus tanya like, what do you say? Then they translate. So it was like, I told Malik like, yo, we can't continue like this. We need to master Indonesian language, you know. So, you know what I did that night? We went out and we bought like a bunch of VCDs, and I watched like Indonesian horror flicks. I remember it was Jelangkong. I watched Jelangkong, and I turned on the subtitles, right? And that's how I mean, I could always speak bahasa tapi nggak begitu lancar kan. So that's how I learned Indonesian. Like, bro, I watched like all the cerita hantu, man.
That's cool. That's cool. That's
so you learn and you get scared at the same time. Like, whoa.
Yeah. So our language, like Bahasa Melayu and Indonesia, is like the structure itself. Yes, it is complex to write rhymes in our language. It's different than English. You know, we got more syllables per word. You know, we got different ways to express. So when you say you try to not make it corny, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Because for me to write lyrics in
Indonesian, I mean, you did the same.
Took some time.
Yeah.
Took some time. Really, it's really hard. I mean, trying to find that balance between trying to sound cool and you want people to understand, but not trying to be corny. It's hard.
And also, like, I think because I have so much respect for, my mother tongue, Bahasa Malaysia kan. Jadi, I grew up like doing debates. I was like a debater perbahasan, and then I was also like
debate club?
Entered like I was debating.
Yo, for real?
You know what I mean? Yeah, Malay. In Bahasa.
Hey man, I'm from a debate club too.
That's what's up,
man. We rappers, we battle.
we battle. We've been battling. I've been battling since I was a kid, right? But and also like I was exposed to syair, puisi, and also like literature, sastra.
Yes.
Jadi, our first foray, like when we wanted to make sure that we did it well, and then that's how Alhamdulillah came about. That was like the first serious, Malay song in Bahasa Malaysia. And yo, man, I've been rapping in Malay ever since. Like, it's like I fell in love with the language all over again. Like, I rediscovered like the love for writing.
Yep.
Yeah, but right now, today, I'm comfortable switching. I mean, it's the same with you. Like, I'm comfortable like doing 2 bars in Malay, 2 bars in English. Yeah. I've been criticized, before, for using Bahasa Pasar. Like when Havoc came out, it was shocking for a lot of people because of the simplicity of the language.
Yeah.
Like, and to be honest, like certain songs like Havoc or like Lulari on my album, like I just went into the booth and I just spit freestyle. You know what I mean? Like I'll do like 2 bars and I'll keep quiet for like a while and then I got the next. That's how I wrote Havoc, right? But it was kind of like shocking for a lot of people because it's like for the first time I wrote without writing. Like it's like I wouldn't say dumb it down, but I make it closer to how we speak every day.
Yeah.
So I think the last 10 years, I think the language also has evolved. I'm comfortable doing something like, people might say like, man, this, you don't sound deep enough. I'm like, it's cool. I don't need to sound deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've proven myself time and time over and over again on many other tracks, so I'm comfortable. But like for tonight, I'm releasing a song, Jam 12. I'm premiering a track called Kuasa.
Yeah, man, I'm waiting. Kuasa.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Tell a little bit.
So Kuasa.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So Kuasa, I wrote this song 2 years ago when I got this beat from Alif, and he sent me this beat. He sang the hook already, and I was like, wow, this song is powerful. It's like, it's a serious track. So I wrote it based on my observation of what was happening in the world. At that point in time, it was elections in Malaysia. And, I've always been neutral, like, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but it was just like the moment, waktu itu, like people campaigning, people like, you know, making accusations, people making, you know, fitnah sana sini, and
politics,
I was just
bro,
like,
politics.
all right, politics is politics, right? But also like on a world level, like I think, you know, at that point in time, I just felt like there is an evil, you know, out there, because there's still wars, there's still, you know, poverty everywhere. People are dying because they don't have enough food, which is crazy, because that should never happen, you know what I mean? Regardless of, you know, your race or your religion.
Yep.
So Kwasa is that song that talks about, like, maybe people always talk about, hey, we're headed to a very dystopian future. Maybe we're already there and we don't even know it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's deep, bro.
Yeah, it's deep. Because like even the food on your table, you know, most of it is genetically modified. You know, GMOs, and you're not even eating real food anymore. So that's just one aspect. You know, there are many other things. Like, I just question. I'm not making any conclusions. You know, with this song, I just want to like get people asking questions. Like, yo, why this, why that? Yeah.
Interesting when you say about kuasa, like power. I believe that there is power.
Ngerti, okay, apa kata kita ngobrol bahasa Indonesia, man?
Okay.
Coba, I need to practice my Indo.
Okay. Kalau bicara soal kuasa, gue percaya ada kuasa dalam kata-kata, in words.
Benar.
There is power. So waktu kita ngomong sesuatu, it's kind of like seperti doa, prayer, you know. Apa yang kita bilang, the same power, kuasa bisa, you can inspire people, you can bisa bikin orang semangat, or you can you know, bring people down.
Dan itu mungkin motivasi saya untuk lagu ini, you know, atau harapan saya untuk lagu ini, you know. Saya tidak I don't really let me
go back to man. Go back and forth, man. Keep switching, it's okay.
Udah lama nggak ngobrol kayak gini, man. Oke. Jadi untuk lagu ini sebenarnya saya udah siap, album saya udah siap dan akan keluar insyaallah maybe in October, September. And saya ada beberapa lagu lain yang seharusnya mula-mula dipilih sebagai single. But I just felt like dengan keadaan dunia sekarang, dengan, you know, what we've been going through, what we just went through with the pandemic, you know, what's going on in Yemen, what's going on in you know, police brutality, not just in America but all over the world, right? Even in my own country, like, not police brutality, but like, you know, there's we still got like problems, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
But a lot of these kebanyakan bukan perselisihan paham, tapi perbedaan
perspektif.
Perspektif semua. Sebenarnya kalau kita tengok betul-betul, sebenarnya all these problems are like it's small. It's like we got bigger issues at hand. You get me? Yeah, that we should like all come together and like figure it out. So
we know there's
like when I talk about my Malaysia, right? Like I got a lot of friends from overseas. You know, I got a lot of friends like they are students or expatriates, but like, you know, sometimes they can't get a cab. They can't, you know, they try to hail a cab just because the color of their skin, like, or they can't rent a house. Nggak bisa dapat you know, apartment atau condo.
Yes.
Di telepon semuanya, so
same thing that I've seen like happen between sometimes Indonesia and Malaysia. You know, people see the difference. People want to use our differences, you know, as a topic to talk about.
Exactly.
Like,
so
which one is better?
So the question is like, who's really causing these you know, stirring up these problems? You know, obviously people with, you know, an ulterior motive, atau orang yang mungkin ada rencana lain, you know, because like, you know, it is what it is lah.
It is what it is.
But anyway, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it. Like, it's a dope track. You know, I got my homie Aslan, the typewriter. He's actually, I'm a big fan of. I've always been a big fan of Aslan. You know, like, he got some crazy vocals. So I did a show with him waktu itu untuk upacara penutup untuk SEA Games 2018, and I was backstage sama dia, and I already start working on Kuasa. So I just told him like, Lan, I got this, ni lagu ini memang gua rasa untuk lu, kalau lu nyanyi is gonna kill it lah. You know, so he came through, and then, you know, we did it like a while back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy to share it with everybody tonight.
I want to talk a little bit about our region, like Southeast Asia, Asia Tenggara.
Yep.
And apa yang lagi, like, yang lo kerjakan with Def Jam. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Right. So Def Jam, you know, of course, we started in October. We started operations. So as the managing director of Def Jam, like, first thing I did was I signed. You know, I went on a signing spree, so to speak. You know, but kebanyakan, so like, it's always been my dream to work on a regional level, like, you know, get Malaysian producers who produce for Filipino rappers, or get, you know. So, but at the same time, you know, I want to really, gimana ya, saya mau coba membentuk dan membantu juga scene hip hop di negara-negara ini. Jadi it has to be like organic, it has to be real. It's not, you know, although of course Def Jam, Universal, like, we still have that independent mindset, you know what I mean? We still go back to old school, traditional A&Ring, you know, looking for talent out there, and we feel the talent is hot, you know. Of course, COVID has, you know, disrupted a bit of our plans because I can't travel and meet up with these acts, you know. But we're taking it slow. Jadi di Indonesia setakat ini kita, you know, I really wanted to sign Mukarakat, you know, and I saw your comments on one of the posts, you know, like, and I'm happy that, you know, I'll tell you a story. Like, we flew in to Bali. We landed at 12. I had with me, David, and Yanis. We landed at 12. We had a meeting with them at 1:30, and I flew back at 4.
Wow.
In the same day. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, just to make sure that, you know, we had some FaceTime with Mukarakat, you know. But I love what they do, you know. Ever since I saw like, what's the track called? Kuda Hitam.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
and
like you know.
The one in the house. Yeah. That was also.
But also, what we're doing as well is, like, we are working with, like, labels. Like, we're open to working with, like, you know, every time we meet an artist, like, people be like, okay, end of the meetings, like, okay, what's the deal? And most of the time, I ask them, like, well, how do you want to work? If you have a label, is there any ways we can help your label? You know, can we, you know, the JV on projects, you know? So it's never just like, okay, I want to sign you, I want to manage you, I want to do a 360 deal. You know, it's never like that. You know.
So one thing that I want to share about like what I've seen from Mukarakat and friends from the eastern part of Indonesia. Okay, they are like separated, like far away from Jakarta, where you have everything like
right.
quick internet connection, like references, fashion.
Right.
The industry is there. You got clubs and everything. But what amazed me is that not just Mukarakat, but there are so many rappers in the eastern part. Indonesia is big.
Yeah,
but somehow these rappers, like, they hustle, man. Like, they really learn, belajar bikin musik, produce sendiri, all the way there. Dan mereka semua talented. Like, I've traveled Indonesia. I've worked with a couple of them. Pernah kolaborasi dengan salah satu grup dan rapper juga dari ujung Indonesia, dari Merauke. Mereka semua talented. They have style. Jadi gini, logat Indonesian accent itu macam-macam.
Yep.
Depends on
Yeah,
where
of
you're
course.
from. If you're from
I'm
Java,
sure there are hundreds and thousands, right?
you're from
Bahasa
Medan,
Sunda,
Borneo,
like
and Eastern Indonesia is like mereka punya slang sendiri. Cara bicaranya itu unik.
Lain.
So waktu mereka ngomong, waktu mereka put it in rap lyrics, it's different. Like me, like sometimes when I hang out with people friends from Ambon or from Papua, you know, like the way I talk terbawa. Like I want to talk like them. They sound so cool.
Oh yeah,
They sound so cool.
For me as well, like with Indonesia, with Def Jam Indonesia, because the first signing was Nayaka, and then we got banned. We're working with Rai, but I also told like my team, like I want to send a positive message out. Dimana we want to work with people even outside of Jakarta. You get what I mean? Yeah. You want to work with people from Yogyakarta. They got a big scene going on there. Rappers from Medan. And I think signing Mukarakat is sort of like sending that signal, like, yo, man, we here. I mean, it surprised a lot of people. But at the same time, it was like in a good way. Like even my homeboy Irfan, he was like, yo, man, you signed Mukarakat. Like, like they were happy that, we did that. And I feel like, there's a lot we can do in Jakarta, and yeah, I mean, gimana ya? Like I think Malaysians need to be exposed to Indonesian rappers, and I think Indonesian rappers will do well here.
Really?
So I hope. I mean, we've always had this bridge, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been to Indonesia, so it's just like I think making the bridge like bigger, lebih besar jambatannya untuk lebih senang. Because if rock bands can do it, like why can't hip hop artists do it? Then yeah,
that's the thing. Like hip hop has always been like we are like basically grew up independent. Like we wanna make something out of nothing. We cannot go to a proper like expensive studio rekaman with bands and everything like we do. Drum machines. We sample, we beatbox. Kita tulis lirik, kita rekaman dengan studio. Very simple studio seadanya. Like it's not expensive, but we can make good stuff, good music. Good lyrics. We can tell stories. Hip hop. That's what I see in hip hop. Like you can tell very big ideas and story with the limitations that you have. And I see that dari banyak rapper di Indonesia Timur.
Yeah. Pasti, man. Oh, well. I can't wait to get out to Jakarta again. Hopefully the traveling is allowed soon again.
I got another question, bro. Like Indonesia and Malaysia, like kita bisa ngobrol, kita bisa lihat, what's happening between our countries. We can talk. Kita bisa lihat dari walaupun bahasanya agak berbeda, tapi in a way we can understand each other. If you want to take time. But how do you see, the connections between our two countries and other countries with different language? Like, do you think Thailand rappers, Thailand hip hop knows about Indonesia, or do you think like Philippines know about Indonesia?
You'd be surprised, like when Young Om came to Malaysia. Young Om is a rapper from Thailand, right? I mean, he's very big in Thailand right now. When we came, he did a little showcase in KL. Like he had fans in KL, people who didn't know his lyrics. He got covered by Malaysian Hustler, which is a local IG like hip hop page, and I think it will start small. You get what I mean? But at least it's a start. If I can do a Mukarakat showcase in KL and 300 people come, that's a start. You get what I mean? And and I think it would be okay, it wouldn't be wise to just think it can happen overnight. But if you have a number one, it will happen overnight. You get what I mean? If Mukarakat has a number one track on the Malaysian charts, then it's not going to be 300 people. It's going to be 3,000 people, 5,000 people at that show. You get. So I think it's a lot of ways of doing it. First, festivals is one. That's what we were going to work. I mean, we had plans and had for tours and the Southeast Asian tour, and we were supposed to do a bunch of festivals, but obviously everything is on hold right now. But that's another way of putting these acts on. So I think there's gonna be a lot of hard work involved. If we might not get it with the first track, we might not get it with the second track, but we get it on the fifth track. I mean, at least it's always going to be progress. It's not everything we do. I think that is the bigger picture. Like jadi mungkin susah untuk fikir yang boleh atau tidak artis daripada Singapura popular di Thailand, but we got to give it a shot. And now with Def Jam, with Universal, and I keep telling everybody that I work with, use the machinery that we have. Like Universal is the number one label in the world. Yeah, I mean, so we work with all the domestic teams, and if we have something and we believe in it, we're gonna give it a shot. If we feel like, yeah. So
you were talking about compilations in the beginning,
Yeah.
Do you think a compilation between artists from different countries, collaborations would help you to achieve that goal?
Mungkin bisa, man, but I mean, I guess these days, why compilations don't exist anymore is because it's been replaced by playlists. Yeah, I mean, so the playlist that's the ultimate compilation, right? And that gets updated every day. So I think, yeah, we're already doing that. Which we're putting on New Music Friday. We're working with all the DSPs. Another way is just doing collaborations. Yeah. We did a remix for Sona one Bomba recently, and everybody just recorded at home and sent. So
yeah, I saw that.
It did make some noise, in Philippines, for maybe not for the right reasons. You could find out for yourself. Just go through the comments. A lot of people were mad, at one of the rappers from Philippines, one of his verse. They were saying yo, they weren't happy with the verse. I'm not gonna, yeah. But also, I think it's also because mumble rap is very new in Philippines. Filipinos, they got a dope freestyle battle scene as well. So coming from that to mumble rap, it's the same thing. Yeah. But for me, as long as they're talking about it, it's cool. I personally like Promdi's verse. It sounded unique, but he got a lot of criticism for his verse. But yeah, at least, they had millions of hits. They had a few 100,000 on YouTube. But the views on Facebook, and again, some of these sites were putting it up, to go in on this rapper, right? But Sona did millions of views on YouTube in Philippines. So safe to say that people know who Sona One is in Philippines. So I think if you keep doing things like this, you keep doing collaborations, it will work, man. Inshallah. I believe so. Yeah. No doubt.
That's really good. I mean, how do you think, regardless of the COVID situation, but let's say everything went back almost like before COVID, right? What would you see? What would you say is your vision of what's gonna happen in the rap scene, or regional rap scene in a couple of years ahead?
My goal, for the scene, I think we want to be able to come out, you know, like create a Southeast Asian like sound. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, you know, like
no, that
at least
totally
be able to
makes sense.
present Southeast Asian music to the world.
Yeah.
You know, but before that, we gotta make sure that we are strong domestically as well.
Yeah.
So for me, the immediate like goal is to get like, you know, the acts we sign, we want them to be big in their respective countries. You know, we want Ukarakat to blow up like A-list in Asia. You know, it might take time.
I agree.
You get what I mean? So we need to dominate and be a force to be reckoned with in your own scene. And then, you know, then we can talk about like, yo, let's bring Mukarakat to Malaysia. Let's try to bring them, you know. So I think for now, we're focused on that, you know, and, you know, we're focused on the music, focused on just putting out like, you know, good music videos and constant releases and, you know, making sure that, you know, none of these acts are, you know, idle too long, you know what I mean? Like everybody needs to put in the work.
Yeah.
And,
that's good,
you know,
because you talk about finding that Southeast Asia sound. That's good. That's a very good topic.
I mean, I wouldn't say finding the sound, but like being able to present Southeast Asian music to the world. You know what I mean?
What I've been trying to do all these years.
Yeah.
I'm trying to define what is Indonesian hip hop. Like I wouldn't say that like there's a set of rules like seperti apa harus seperti ini baru bisa dibilang hip hop Indonesia. But the thing is, I was always trying to find that original, you know, Indonesian hip hop sound, you know, storytelling style, words. Like how can you play with my like with Indonesian language, how to put words together, because I learned a lot from like how the Koreans did it. K-pop went worldwide, and the whole world is learning how to sing in Korean. That's like mad respect. I mean, like everybody wants like, how can we do that with our own language?
No doubt, bro. I mean, I just want to contribute, you know, to like hip hop in general. Like you know, I want to make an impact. Like I want to look back, you know, when I'm older, like, yo, man, at least we gave it a shot. You know what I mean? I don't want to live with regrets. And I feel like, you know, for instance, Philippines, there's so many, like the talent out there is like crazy, like, you know, everywhere, right? But like Philippines, for instance, you know, there's some rappers in Tondo that I know if I play for my boys in Brazil or like in Mexico or in LA, they're gonna be like, damn, these guys are fire, you know, this sound is hot. So we're gonna take it step by step, you know. First and foremost, like we wanna, you know, put on the acts that are coming up, you know, people with talent that deserve to blow up, you know, we wanna work with everybody. And then the next step will be to try and cross market, you know, these artists and hopefully bring them. Because I feel like it's just gonna be a matter of time when we are able to find this star. There's gonna be an international star. That's just how I feel. Because, for instance, like Tamil hip hop, you know, in Malaysia, there's a big scene, a very healthy scene, you know. But at the same time, there's India with how many billion people, right? And there have already been artists from Malaysia that have broken India. So imagine if, you know, we get that kid that's probably still, you know what I mean, like in his basement, like, you know, with DIY, you know, we give that kid the means and, you know, the vehicles, you know, to take them there. It's not out of, you know, it's not impossible. For a kid from Klang, you know, I mean, provided like he's dope, you know, give them proper producers, proper music videos, you know. It's not impossible for a Malaysian kid to blow up in India because it's the same language.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or it's a kid a Mandarin rapping kid from Malaysia or from Singapore blow up in China. Why not? Blow up in Hong Kong. Why not? Rapping Cantonese. This language shouldn't, is already the same language. So there's no language barrier there. And pop stars have done it. Yeah. Like Fish Leong blew up in Taiwan. Like there were so many, man, I can't remember off the top of my head now, but
you mentioned pop stars, like
like
actually,
Stephanie San from Singapore blew up in Taiwan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you talk about pop stars, even K-pop, there's always hip-hop elements. There's always elements of hip hop in many of this pop music nowadays.
Right.
Do you think it's important for hip hop artists to learn how to not like crossover, but understand the pop side of songwriting? You think it's important?
Yeah, of course, man. It is. I mean, because I think that's what, if you want commercial success, you cannot just like be in your own zone. But at the same time, I wouldn't tell my artists to compromise and do something they hate doing. Like, I'm not, if they don't like it, they don't like this look, they don't like, well, like, for the most part, I don't get too involved in, I just like try to come in the end and like, okay, the track. So, but yeah, because all the successful rappers, they understand that, and all the A&R teams or the writers that, and I mean, I know it's hard for an MC to like, I'm not saying that, oh, you got to get a ghostwriter, da-da-da. Well, sometimes it's even hard for them to just like work with like more than one producer in the room, Sometimes it takes like more than 2 people to write a hit. It can be 10 people. Somebody can be like, you need some bass players, like everybody contribute. I've had numerous conversations with friends from overseas, from America, that have had Billboard hits, and I was like, yo, how'd you write this song? Oh yeah, 15 people were in the room, and you just look at the credits and you be like, so
I can't imagine how that feels like, man, because like when I write songs, it's just me and my computer.
Yeah, I guess me too. I could do that, but I could also like with my new album, I got one track where where I was in the studio with Sona, and this track was done by this new kid named Saucy J. It was basically just a loop, but I love the sound. But I got on the phone, I called my homeboy Marcus, who plays trombones, plays trumpet for the Philharmonic Orchestra. He came through, laid down some, like he just played crazy. Got my homeboy Fat Boy Tony, one of the illest drummers, I know, came through, recorded some drums. Like, it just kept adding a new dimension, into the song. And I'm here, for me, I'm open to ideas, and eventually the song became a different track, So to answer your question, I don't expect, rappers to go in with, okay, let's hire this producer, let's buy the song now. But it's important for you to understand your market, you understand what your fans like, if you want to cross over the bigger audience, then you need to be able to, because you're competing with everybody else on Spotify. You're competing with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yo, I gotta go, brother.
Hey, man.
I understand. I gotta do a few phoners for my release tonight.
It's been dope. It's been awesome. Looking forward for the song.
Thank you, brother. Let's do this again, man. Kita ngobrol lagi, man.
Sure, man.
We can talk more.
It doesn't have to be on IG Live. We can just go Zoom or whatever.
Yeah, no doubt. But it's good to be able to share this with the fans out there, because
Oh yeah, sure, definitely. Let's just find another time.
Keep in touch, brother. Keep in touch.
And talk more. It's been dope. Thank you for the time.
Terima kasih. Yo, Saykoji.
Looking forward for the song. Flizzow.
Much love to Jakarta, Hip Hop Indo. Peace, one love, brother.
KL, Malaysia.
Speak soon.